None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time, F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
What is going on, everybody? Hope everyone is doing great out there. It is Apocaflix Movies and Apocaflix Now. We are back on a Tuesday evening talking all kinds of cool movie news. Well, at least one piece of cool movie news. The other one is very, very bad that we're going to get to eventually that Mr. Jacob London just had to be back on tonight to discuss. He is back for the second week in a row, and we're super stoked. Keith's going to be here. He'll be here at some point. As you all know, he gets off work a little bit later than we do, so he'll pop in when he can. No Jacob tonight. He's picking up an extra shift at work. So we'll be holding down the fort, talking a little Andor, a little Warner Brothers, and of course, we'll be starting the show off by Brian discussing Don John and challenging another person on the panel. Let's go to Brian, because Brian wasn't here last week. Brian, how are you doing, sir?
Another glorious day.
That's it?
I was telling them when you popped off for a second, I was like, don't let Jake fool you. This theme was planned, and the Batman news just happened to swing in like minutes after he posted it. And
I don't know, man.
Like,
Andor was the main topic of the show tonight before that all happened.
I know. But it's funny because Jake and I talk about this all the time. After we do a show, almost every single time something drops that we just finished talking about. Mm-hmm. And for like the very first time, it actually happened right before the show. And it's like, finally, we get to actually talk about something immediately after it happens.
Yeah.
So.
No. I mean, I wish it was a good thing
Of
that we
course.
get to kind of have fun and talk about, right?
Of
But
course.
this one could be very heated as we get into a little bit later. Gio, how about you, man? How you doing hanging in there?
What are you guys talking about? Did something happen? Did I miss something?
Well, you did miss it before you scrolled late through Twitter.
Yeah.
Earlier, you had missed it all.
Yeah, it was that kind of work day. And I went home thinking, all right, I'm going to have a few hours to relax and just decompress, unwind. And then I get on my phone and I'm like, oh, shit. We're going to have a field day with this one. And then I see the notes and I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. Let me go pick up some...
There was no official notes. All you saw was the thumbnail of me basically saying WB tanking. And you put the boxing gloves on. You're ready. I know you're ready. You're ready.
I had to go pick up some drink for this one. So,
and yes, Mr. Jacob London, all the way from Australia, man. How you doing?
Good. So it's funny. I woke up at around 5 a.m. this morning, which is fairly normal for me. And the biggest news story that I woke up to on my timeline was all the Formula One drama going on right now. And that's my world at the moment. Like, it's all this massive Formula One drama, especially considering it's involving an Aussie. So massive Formula One drama. And for those of you who are fans, it's amazing at the moment. And then I'm like, okay, well, me and Taylor were talking about that, and it was like, oh my God, can you believe this? I can't believe it. What team's he going to sign with? Like all this craziness happening. And then ding, Batgirl cancelled. Oh, great. Okay. Movies now are going nuts and crazy and being chaotic as well. And then also dealing with the NFL. And this has been a fun 48 hours for just how manic and crazy the entire world's decided to be. And it's just like all my worlds have come crashing down into one giant big heap of just What the hell?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The hell?
It leaves us with some stuff to talk about, which is nice. You know, we do have a big conversation that probably was going to happen at some point, but now obviously it has been kickstarted by what happened with Batgirl. So we'll get into there. We'll get into all that. We promise everybody. I do want to shout out real quick. First of all, Mr. Andy, a big supporter here on Apocaflix and POV. It is his birthday here, but it was his birthday yesterday in Australia.
Yesterday.
So happy birthday, Andy.
Happy
I know
birthday.
it passed, but happy birthday. And then our beloved 6th member here on the channel, our one mod. Apparently, she's with you, Brian. She's got the Rona. Rachel's got the Rona. It's holding her hostage. So there you go.
Spreading like
sorry,
wildfire. And it's
Well-
Wingblade's birthday, too.
And it is
Yeah.
Wingblade's birthday. He won't be popping in, so happy birthday, Sean. He's having dinner with. I actually talked to him earlier. He was up at the lake earlier today and had dinner with the family and everything. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing too much. Kids got soccer practice and whatnot. We're just coming back to the house. You know, life with kids." So,
You in 2 years.
and well, we'll see about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the show off with something we haven't done here on the channel just a little bit because Brian's been gone. Let's go ahead and do the movie watching challenge. We're catching back up with Brian as he is going to be reviewing the Joseph Gordon-Levitt starred, directed, and written film Don John, which is totally tailored to Mr. Brian Avalosino. So, Brian, take it away.
Why did you guys make me watch this movie?
It was the wheel. It was the wheel.
Like,
Fate.
I know you guys have been trying to get me to watch this for a long time. I don't know why.
You can't tell me you didn't like it, though.
No, it was. I hate those types of endings, by the way. I
Really?
despise endings like that, where it's just like it almost is like there's no ending. I hate those types of movie.
You mean open endings like Inception
Yes.
and Birdman?
I've never seen Birdman. I want to.
You must be a real big fan of Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Never seen it.
That's
So-
I think that movie has the single weirdest just why are you ending the movie here ending.
Yeah. Inception.
I would have said. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say Inception. I'm kind of okay with actually.
That
But
ending
that's
is
like
the
perfect.
one that got.
Sorry, Inception, that's an ending. That is
That movie,
Yeah.
that ending is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. But this, I like. In fact, I was talking to. Who was I talking to? We were talking about like the ending, and he's like, "How'd the movie end again?" And I'm like, him just hanging out with the old chick, and he's like, "Oh yeah, weird ending."
Better-
I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Put
Like,
some respect on Julianne Moore's name.
but in the movie, she's like advertised as like, "Oh, look at she's the old lady going back to school."
She's the cougar.
So,
She's
not-
experienced.
Yeah, sure. Experience, sure. But yeah, no. I was just so my walls are very thin of my apartment. Like you go out in the hallway, you can hear what he's watching. I'm like, oh, he's
I don't know
watching
why, but I
Office.
thought you said my balls. I thought you said my balls. I was like, where are you
Oh.
going right now, Brian?
Oh my.
no.
No.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So like I literally had to watch this movie with the remote in my hand.
Oh,
Okay.
come on. Who cares?
Yeah.
Headphones on.
Yeah, come on.
Headphones. No
Come
way.
on.
Then it's just weird if you're watching a movie like that with headphones. But no. It was okay. Scarlett Johansson was great as always. Her little New Yorker accent, if you will.
I think New
Uh,
Jersey. New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have on Don John. That's all you have.
It was not tailored for me. It's
So
like,
I mean that's fair. So I just the reason why I asked is so Jacob challenged you and it landed on Don John, but it's arguably like one of his like the movies that he talks about the most.
I can absolutely
he-
see why.
He loves this movie, so I'm sure he's going to be bummed
not
to hear
surprised.
that. But it's understandable, you know. This I guess I have only seen it maybe twice. I remember going to watch it in theaters, but I guess I can see that it's either you like it or you don't. It's just one of those movies where you kind of like what's happening or you don't like what's happening. So I get it.
Yeah. It was interesting. It's one of those ones that I'm glad I watched it. I can say I've seen it, and I'm moving on.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think you can see my tweet thread like going, okay, oh, okay, and eventually just like tapers off. But, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the next portion of this. Brian, you get to challenge someone, and I have the wheel ready. So go ahead and select the person you want to challenge, and then mention the movies, and I'll bring up that wheel.
I went with Keith on this one, and Keith arguably has the second most movies on our little challenge sheet. Jake, you have the ones that I actually like. I know the movies, but you had just challenged me. Jacob, I knew like one. Gio, yours are decent, but Keith's is very vast. So with his list, I went like 4 completely different movies to try to just, see what it would land on, see what the wheel felt, if you will. Jake, pull it up because I actually have no idea what I challenged him to.
All right, so you challenged Bad Moms, The King's Speech, Southpaw, and Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, I went all over the place. I mean, you got a little sports movie, you got a Oscar-winning drama, you have isn't Lawrence of Arabia considered like one of the greatest movies of all time?
Yeah, it's like a big epic, I guess is the best way to kind of describe it.
And then a trash comedy in Bad Moms.
Trash comedy.
Which I actually have seen that one, I enjoy, but
I think Bad Moms is great. I do. I love that.
So do I.
Okay, so if it lands on Wild, Brian, you get to choose because you challenged. Well, he's not here. So just to move things along, I'll actually let you pick if it lands on Wild. If you're ready to go, though, we can see what Keith will be watching this week.
I do have one that I'm actually hoping he gets.
Is it Bad Moms?
Oh!
It is not.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
I'm going to actually go with probably the shocker of it.
Lawrence of Arabia.
I actually want him to watch Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay. All right.
I haven't seen it. I know it's on my 100 my list that you gave me, scratch off of like 100 movies to watch before you die or whatever it is. And so that was actually
Ooh, that's a pretty cover too.
Yeah.
4K, nice.
4K.
You can't actually get this standalone. You can only get it in the Columbia Classics pack.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
it's now $1,000.
So I want him to watch that just because it's like, I'm curious. Like, it seems like a very much a movie that Keith would have watched, and like, cause he studied film and stuff like that. So like, I'm very curious. I'm actually interested to watch it, to be completely honest. So yeah, shocker. I'm not giving him Bad Moms.
Lawrence of Arabia. So it's not available on streaming anywhere. He'll just have to rent it, which is not a big deal. $3 on Prime. Yeah, it's not difficult. Once he gets in here, we'll let him know that's all he'll be watching. And then he'll get to challenge someone next week, per usual. So there it is. Keith will be watching Lawrence of Arabia. The first like Oscar-worthy film we've had in a challenge in a while. Like, when was the last Oscar-worthy film we've had? I don't know. It's been like trash movies for a while.
Casablanca?
Yeah, and that was like months ago.
Probably you.
Months ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So cool, and that's what I love about it. And so
to be fair, my runner-up that I wanted him to watch was Southpaw. I know you like that movie.
Southpaw's good. I do like it.
good
But
one.
I'm a Gyllenhaal guy.
No?
I'm a Gyllenhaal guy, so
Fair.
Hey,
South
Roadhouse, Jake.
Roadhouse. Let's go.
Roadhouse.
Anyway.
Yeah, Euro Trip. That was our last Oscar.
Okay, you know what I mean, John Booze. You know what I mean. Because Euro Trip is not trash. It's just a trashy movie. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk some Star Wars, guys. We'll do this quickly so we can get to our main topic of the evening, which is the Warner Brothers stuff. But because there was a brand new trailer for Star Wars, and that is Andor, the Disney Plus series that is coming that has been pushed back just for 3 weeks. Nothing major, just a 3-week bump, probably to slide a little bit past She-Hulk, which is why I'm sure that decision was made. But we got a brand new full real look at this show after a great teaser trailer in May during Star Wars Celebration. And we get to see all the major players involved, multiple different planets and locations. Obviously, the Empire is in full effect at this point. Mon Mothma is doing her thing with a number of other people. Stellan Skarsgård looks fantastic in this show. There's so many things to love about it. Gio, I actually want to start with you on this one, man. Just kind of kick us off, give some thoughts, and we'll run with it. What did you think about this new Andor trailer?
I think this has the potential, coming off of Obi-Wan acknowledging Mandalorian. This one has the potential to be the best Disney Star Wars piece of content, live action. That's how much I was sold with this trailer. Okay, I'm not the most knowledgeable Star Wars fan. I can't name half the characters in this. I recognize a few. Saw Gerrera, yeah, nice to see him back. But yeah, everything from the tone, even the music, the cinematography. I'm not sure if they shot on location, but just the opening to the trailer and all the landscapes, mountains and whatnot. I'm just like, wow. Just the whole scale of Andor. I know people had complaints about Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett, especially about like, it didn't feel like, you get what I mean? And like, so yeah, if it's anything like Rogue One, which I believe Tony Gilroy is the showrunner.
Yep.
And heavily involved in Rogue One. Loved Nightcrawler, by the way.
Same.
I'm all in. Yeah. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a very different show than Obi-Wan. And we've only seen trailers, so I'm interested to see what the volume does look like when we get to see the show. Because I talked about it on
They
this
didn't
channel.
use the volume.
They didn't use it at all?
They didn't use it.
No, they
No,
like
at
all.
They
They
flat
might
out
have
said
used-
today.
Yeah, oh, did they say not at all? I know I
Practical
know
effects
Perfect.
the majority of
the
it
whole
was.
time.
Perfect.
They said the complete practical effects.
I love it. Well, I mean, obviously, so like the
Or
like the
whatever
Senate
that
room and
means.
stuff is going to be CGI, stuff like that, which makes sense, and I'm fine with that because that means like we see a lot of shots of them outdoor, and the opening shot clearly is shot in a forest, like that's obvious, but we see shots of like Andor walking through like what looks like a junkyard and stuff, and I love that we're now learning that kind of looks like or that feels like practical effects because it always just makes it better. It just feels better when you're watching it. Yeah, I don't know what it was about the trailer, but it might have been the music because I've really dug the music they've done for both trailers so far. They've really kind of just like got me, hooked, especially really early. But Brian and I were talking about this yesterday. Very spy espionage thriller vibe, which I'm totally in for. Playing in kind of this like underworld type where they're hiding their identities and stuff. I love that we're seeing the beginnings of Andor and then seeing the parallel of what Mon Mothma is doing in the Senate. That shot of her in her gowns on the Senate chair with the Imperial symbol is such an incredible shot in Star Wars. Just like because we know what Mon Mothma is, and the fact that she's in the Imperial Senate and everything is just so cool. The fact that we're seeing that. Stellan Skarsgård just looks like he's having a blast playing this type of character. I love that we're getting Saw back. I hope it's a very different type of Saw, being that it's earlier. I'm all in. I do think that there's a chance this could be the best Star Wars series we have so far. And if it's very similar to what Rogue One put out, obviously Tony Gilroy being involved with that, now doing this, I mean, the hype is real with this one. Like after this trailer, the hype is pretty real. So.
Just
Go
a
ahead,
quick, yes. Tony Gilroy was a producer on Nightcrawler. Dan Gilroy was the director. John Gilroy was edit.
Jesus.
All these Gilroys. Wow. Anyway.
But Jacob, Brian, what do you guys think?
Brian, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you go first.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is the first time I saw something recently Star Wars and went, "Holy shit!" Like that legitimately looks like almost like classic Star Wars. Like I was like, holy moly, like blown away. Like, I mean, Obi-Wan had like a certain feel to it of like nostalgia kind of ruled that one, whereas this one feels like a
They're going back to
classic, like,
basics.
yeah, almost like bare minimum, like fighting and political stuff. Like, I thought it looked great. I couldn't believe. I think the look of it is what blew me away more than anything. Just like how it actually looked.
It has this real raw, gritty feel to it.
Yeah, and
because,
my friends back home, they were like, "Dude, is this the Rogue One guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "They made a whole show about him," and I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "It freaking looks dope." And I'm like, "I know," and I'm like, because like I remember talking to people like, "Yeah, they're giving like what a character from Rogue One that wasn't Jin like a whole show," and they were like, "What? Like, why? Like, Rogue One was fine on its own." And then, like, now you see this and you're like, okay, I dig it. And to be completely honest, the fact that it has taken this long to get essentially a Mon Mothma's backstory is up there to me with Plagueis. Like, it's like, you know, the person's there. She's been probably in what? Less than a half hour of screen time in all
Mon
of the
Mothma?
movies? Yeah.
She was cut from Revenge of the Sith, and then she was in a few minutes of Return. And then
I mean, I'm shooting
Rogue One.
high with saying 30 minutes, but
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot. Yeah,
she's arguably one of the biggest players in building the background of Star Wars, and now we are finally almost 50 years later, like, getting into like her stuff, why she is leading the rebellion, why she's doing this. And in fact, I saw someone posted on Twitter, I guess in episode 2, I could be wrong, it could be episode 3, I think it's episode 3, there's a deleted scene of like the 6 original senators that like met and was like, this is what we're starting. And it's like, I saw that and went, damn, they need to like somehow get that into like this as like maybe a flashback.
Well, that was
Like,
going to be the original ending, and it was going to be Padme, but then they decided to kill her.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened.
That needs to somehow like work its way into a flashback of just a meeting and like set the tone, like, and just go from there. Because I was blown away by this trailer. Like, I'm surprised you haven't said it yet, that your whole like, this is made for me, because it's literally.
I kind of hinted at it. It's everything I want from Star Wars.
Yeah,
Everything I want, except for Pirates.
A gritty spy thriller, and I'm very excited, especially when we were at Celebration. They're like, oh yeah, there's 24 episodes. You're like,
yeah,
holy crap! Like, this story is gonna give you 24 episodes, and then you see this, and you're like, okay, 24 sounds good. Like, so yeah, I'm in. I'm all in for it. I'm pleasantly pleased with what I've seen so far, and it is very noticeable on the plus side, not using the volume.
London, give me some good news.
Too much of a good thing with volume.
All right.
Give me some good news.
So I'm not the biggest Rogue One fan.
That's fair.
Okay. Rogue One, to me, the biggest problem with Rogue One is I don't care about the characters at all. Like, so when, spoiler alert for a 6-year-old movie, when everyone carks it, I don't care. Like, it's not the emotional, oh my god, this is what they did. Like, for me, I don't care. Holy fuck, we're getting politics in Star Wars, and I'm so excited.
There it is. There
Like,
it is.
like, okay, for a series called Star Wars, we have never gotten the politics. This could be Game of Thrones. This could be Star Wars doing Game of Thrones, and I am so excited, and I'm hoping like the stuff with Andor, I actually don't care about at all. Like every time they were going to Andor, I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like I kind of do because it's the rebellion, and I kind of do everything with the Senate and Mon Mothma, like all of that. I'm like, give me. I want these type of stories and really dealing with what was the Empire like? What was it actually like because we get the story of, the Senate has finally been disinvolved. Fear of this battle station will keep the systems in line. And I want the story of how did that transition happen? Like that sort of story. This is an original. It's like, okay, we're doing stories that are still set within the Clone Wars era, or like the prequel era, which I'm loving that they're starting to touch on this era, and they're like, no, this isn't like forbidden territory anymore. It's like we're willing to touch on it, which is good. And I like the fact that it's a story that's not just going to be filled with cameos of Vader. Like I don't think we're going to see Vader. I would
hope not.
I don't think we're going to see Obi-Wan. I don't think we're going to see these characters that are like entrenched in this era, because I think it's going to be more about, hey, this is the rebellion starting. And I like that idea. And I this is probably the most excited I've been for a Star Wars show in a while, in a long time. And I don't, because I wasn't a fan of Obi-Wan. I thought Obi-Wan was a stretched out movie and should have been a really kick-ass 2-hour movie. I thought the same with Book of Boba Fett's arguably, outside of Rise of Skywalker, the worst thing Star Wars has done since maybe outside of Rise
I don't
of Skywalker.
disagree with you.
I think Book of Boba Fett is one of the worst things Star Wars has ever done. And Mando season 2 annoyed me because Mando season 2 is Book of Boba Fett light. It's like, it's not as bad as Book of Boba Fett, but that was the direction they're going in, and you could see the direction they were going in, which is just, hey, we're filled with cameos and we're just bringing in cameos of people that you know. And that's really taken me off Star Wars. And I think because Andor is filled, I think because this series is filled not with classic characters, but more characters that are from the Disney era, I'm okay with it more, because it's like, no, you guys created these. You're not just grabbing nostalgia from other people's creators. It's the people that it's the characters you created in the world that you were at least dived into like a little bit. That I'm more okay with it here than I am with Mando. And like Mando season 1 was fun. I liked season 1, but yeah.
No, hey, I mean, it's fair. And I agree with you about the politics side of it. I think when Star Wars politics is done right, it's some of, if not the best politics done in like film and television, because it's so intriguing and interesting. It's such an interesting look at all of it.
Especially now that we're older and we know what the hell they're actually talking about.
That's talking. But like I love, like, it's why the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones works so well for me. It's because it is the politics. It's it's hey, the actual politics of what it's like to live in medieval times, or in like a fantasy world. And I love that idea, and I love shows like this dealing with it. It being 12 episodes of one season and 12 in another gives them breathing room, gives them time to be like, we're not telling a movie, this is a TV show, we're telling TV. And I
agree.
We can get, and we'll get more into it later when we're talking DC, because it's the problem they're gonna have. Disney have really over the last, Disney Plus has very much kind of tried very hard to be, hey, we're just stretched out movies, and it's not worked. There's a reason why I think 6 episodes for a lot of these shows just is not good. And because it's either you're not actually really diving into it, you're just kind of in holding patterns instead of actually doing the stories justice. So
I agree. I think 6 episodes is probably too short. I would have totally dug 8 to 10 of Obi-Wan personally, but and a lot of other shows too.
Movies. I'm either doing a 2-hour movie and shrink it right down and only focus on the parts that you clearly wanted to focus on, or stretch it out and do an 8 to 10 episode series and actually like dive into it all.
I mean, Mando's been 8 episodes each season. WandaVision was 9. Falcon and Winter Soldier was 6. It's like it's been all over the place. It's been all over the place. So I would love to see them hammer out an episode count that works well for them, and maybe Andor is the first step of that, because 12 episodes
TV
of
series were 24 episodes long, like a normal like. God, tell me about that.
What are the run times?
I said that last week when we were when we were talking about Daredevil. I love that it's 18 episodes. I think Daredevil being 18 episodes is incredible because it's going to be our first time to actually live inside the MCU. Yeah. We're going to live in this and feel what it's like to live in the MCU. And it's the one thing we haven't really gotten yet, of being able to actually feel what is it like living in this world. And I really love that that's what we're getting now. At least I'm assuming that's what we're going to get from Daredevil, is this feeling of people living inside this world. At least I hope. I hope it doesn't have the Netflix sag. That's the only that's the only fear I have, is the Netflix middle sag, where the episodes 5 to 9 sucked.
I'm very curious to see if it's like Andor with a mix of, if it's like 50% Andor, 50% like the politics, because it is his name. His namesake is the show.
I think it'll be very similar, and I always make this reference, but whereas Captain America Civil War was the Civil War storyline, but Cap was still the main character. Like I think it, or Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Spider-Man No Way Home was about a lot of different people, but Peter Parker or Tom Holland was still the main character. I do think Andor is going to be leading the show like 55, 60%. He'll be the one that we're kind of following as at the beginning of the rebellion, excuse me. And then the other storyline will be Mon Mothma, but they're kind of going to be connected in a way, because it looks like Stellan Skarsgård is connected to both of them.
I'm sure
so he's almost like the centerpiece.
Going to be the one taking like the military orders from Mon Mothma, which then sends it to Andor or something.
Yes,
like that.
It's going to be very connected.
I'm just very curious also, because I remember a lot of people, my friends included, coming out of Rogue One and being like, dude, fuck Cassian Andor. Like, he's almost like a villain in that movie. He's not nice and blah, 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 blah. Like, he's not your typical nice guy hero. He is a jaded.
He was an assassin. Like, people have to realize he was an assassin.
Exactly. So I'm very curious to see, like, if people gravitate towards like his style of character.
He's not going to be a nice character. He's still not going to be a nice character.
Exactly. And like, that's not Diego Luna. That's the character. So like, I
think either way it's going to be great. I think the show is going to kill.
I mean, I actually ended up liking Andor coming out of Rogue One. So, but you didn't, as the character, right? You didn't like Andor as a character. Like,
I've liked him more over time, but no, I did not like him right off the bat. No.
Yeah. Were you a fan of like the characters of Rogue One and stuff?
I was. Yeah. I mean, I was generally surprised that the same year the Suicide Squad came out, Rogue One was by far the better Suicide Squad movie. I mean, all of them just went on a hell of a mission, and I hope this show starts off with a completely different Andor, Cassian Andor, and it leads up to what kind of Cassian Andor we see in the beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah,
where he's like, desperate, and it doesn't matter. Like, I will kill you for the sake of the rebellion. And I hope to see that over 24 episodes. Saw Gerrera. Like I said, I'm very happy we're gonna see him.
Two
which means-
Tubes was there.
I hope we just see a less insane version of Saw Gerrera, personally.
I think
give me
you're-
the extremists. Yeah, I want
I
him and
think-
Mon Moth have
no.
interaction.
I think
I'm with Brian.
Gio, you're gonna get. He's gonna be like optimistic in the beginning, like war. Let's bring it to him, and then shit is going to constantly.
Well, I think we're
in
going to see the
face.
we know that Saw was working with them at one point, and then we learned in Rebels, which is right before Rogue One, which might take place during like season 2 of this show, that Saw had split off because he started to disagree with everything.
Mhm.
So it seems like they're all going to be connected. And then Brian's right; we might see the split of all of that either in this season or the next season, because that's how it all kind of works in Star Wars canon in this specific time period. So
That's I think we're going to actually get a character arc in a Star Wars show. I mean, I can't believe it. Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. Good point.
I'm not bitter at all about what's happened for the last
Well,
5
I don't
years.
want to continue the bitterness, but we do have to get to our main topic of the evening. I know everyone has been waiting.
Bitterness. Oh,
Here we go.
I know everyone's been waiting since the start here. Let's talk about this Warner Brothers situation, everybody. So, a little backstory. We obviously know of a lot of things that have been going on behind the scenes with certain DC films. The one that has been at the forefront was the Ezra Miller situation with The Flash. Kind of still unknown as far as what's happening with that film. It did not appear at San Diego Comic-Con. And then we have the Aquaman 2 situation with Amber Heard. That film looking like it's doing reshoots and possibly cutting out Amber Heard altogether. Still up in the air whether or not that's officially happening or not. And now, as of today, a movie that has been plugging along. It's been shooting. We've gotten images and information about it. We've had cast members join the film. There's been no problems up until a little news story came out earlier this morning announcing that the Batgirl film, spinoff, the one that was going to be in theaters, then got shifted to HBO Max, will no longer be released at all. It is just officially shelved, pushed back, put into a dark corner, and never touched again. It's very unfortunate because it seemed like this movie had no issues. It was going to be pushed forward. It only had a $90 million budget, which obviously for a DC film is not a good chance of making some good profit to it. And the one thing that a lot of people are obviously talking about is that it had a person of color directing and a person of color starring. And it was a double director also. The gentleman who did Bad Boys for Life, they were in charge of this film. So, I mean, let's just open the doors. We can talk about Warner Brothers out together, but I kind of want to start with the Batgirl stuff and then spin off a little bit into maybe The Flash, Aquaman, the overall idea of what Warner Brothers and DC are going for. Gio, I do want to start with you because you are the DC guy here. Try not to go on the longest rant of your life, but what is your opinion, thoughts, theories, ideas about everything that is going down right now with this Batgirl news?
This is very, very telling for the Flash movie, and I cannot wait till we get to that part of the conversation. But as far as Batgirl goes, I think I'm more bummed out about the talent than I am the actual movie. I'm not going to pretend like I was a huge Batgirl fan, okay? I did plan on reading year one. That's kind of my thing. Anyways, but
it's great.
Yeah, it's just it falls in line with what Warner Brothers Discovery and particularly David Zaslav, CEO, is doing behind the scenes. Taking a look at what the old regime, Warner Brothers, was trying to do and bringing in experts like Alan Horn as a consultant, who longtime Warner Brothers, then went to Disney and now back at Warner Brothers as a consultant, to help him undo some of the stuff that the previous regime did. And unfortunately, Batgirl is one of those movies, and color me shocked. Okay. I mean, Wonder Twins. Okay. I understand that.
Yeah, that was an odd one too. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was an odd one. There's another one I'm forgetting. I'm scared for Blue Beetle. I mean, just because.
So that's the one that I wanted to talk about. I think that one's probably next on the chopping block.
It
I
is.
hope
That's-
not.
It's not happening.
The-
I think we're gonna find
I
out.
hope not. I think that one has more potential. I'm sorry to say, but there are things about the Batgirl movie that got me scratching my head. I mean, you had J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon, who was Affleck's Commissioner Gordon, Batfleck, and then you have Michael Keaton's Batman, and hardly any information. And this movie would have had to sit for God knows how long while they figure out the Flash movie and whether or not they're going to can it, they're going to reshoot, what they're going to do, because you can't have a movie with Michael Keaton's Batman without first reintroducing Michael Keaton's Batman. So there's a whole lot of other factors in it, but I'm bummed for Adi and Bilal, who were the Bad Boys for Life directors. I'm a big fan of them and their story. Leslie Grace, she's probably devastated because this was her big role and what she was going to do for the character and for female comic book characters. Obviously, J.K. Simmons, who I've missed for a long time as Commissioner Gordon. I mean, God, one of the biggest wastes as far as the casting goes, and a whole lot of others. So I'm bummed for the talent, and I'm curious who you guys have to say.
Jacob, go for it, man.
Okay. I can see a few people in the chat have said, I'm going to mention Jesse's one, where he says that that it had a higher budget than the first Shazam film, but it apparently looked very cheap. If this is true, which again, I'm taking with a grain of salt, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. But if it's true, you've got to remember that this is a streaming movie.
Mhm.
it was.
There's
It
no
was never going to
residual-
be a movie theater movie, right? Sorry,
No, it was always
Okay.
always made for
that was
the
one thing I
intention
was
of
never
HBO
sure
Max.
on.
It was always made for the intention of HBO Max.
Okay.
However, you've got to also then remember that because of that, actors get their upfront fee. They don't get residuals. There's no such thing as a residual for a streaming movie. It's all
Mhm.
So realistically, look, this is I hate this, and I don't want and I don't want what I'm about to say to come across as they did the right decision. I think they've made the wrong choice. I think at some point I want this movie to release, and I think it should have been released.
Yep.
But I get it. I get the world we live in right now that it's not, because where's the upside for this new board? And I hate I hate it. I hate that is the reality, but there's no upside given the board have been very vocal, very loud about the fact that we do not like where DC is going. We are changing the direction of DC. We do not like the decisions of the previous board. So So this movie's a non-win for them. And again, it's it's a lot easier to write off $90 million than it is to write off 300. So I think that's part of why they just wrote this one off. And I do truly believe at some point we will get this movie. I don't think it's going to sit unreleased forever. I just think this was the easier way of just coming out and going, it's not getting released right now. We don't know when, if ever. And instead of having the constant questions and the constant, oh, but is it before or is it after Flash or anything? It's just like, we don't know. At some point it will be released. Maybe. But right now it's not our focus and we don't want to spend any more money on it. And I think that's just where the reality of this is right now. This is a power move by the new board. This is the new board coming in and putting their stamp on, we are in control, because they feel Warner Brothers has been mishandled over the last couple of years by the previous board, by the previous administration, which there's merit to that. There is merit
Oh my
to
God.
that.
Poor Cheetah.
But I also think, look, I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I think we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
go by the end of this
Oh,
week.
yeah.
We're gonna look back at the end of this week and go
Thursday. You'll know Thursday when they do their shareholder meeting.
I think we're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah,
to the end of
it's-
this
it's
week,
gonna be
and
brutal.
Batgirl being cancelled is gonna be the small story.
I think there's two. I think out of all the projects that are happening, we're seeing two of them.
So can I go into mine?
We're
What
seeing
I-
Shazam, or excuse me, we're gonna say three. We're gonna see three.
Yeah.
The three that were at Comic-Con: Shazam, Black Adam, and I guess Aquaman wasn't at Comic-Con, but Aquaman is. I think we're gonna end up seeing that.
I think
that's.
and again, we'll probably get to it later, but the thing that I think is going to be the biggest one that people are going to be shocked by that they don't expect coming, season 2 of Peacemakers cancelled.
Yeah, I
Guarantee
think so
you
too.
that. Guarantee you we're not getting season 2 of Peacemaker.
Okay,
It's
so
brutal.
here's my thing that I found.
As John Booz literally says, I hope we get season 2 of Peacemaker.
All right, guys. I really think we're not.
So
Well,
here's
hold
my
on. If,
thing.
if James Gunn can make it under, I mean, $30 million, if I'm not mistaken, is the threshold, right, for HBO Max content.
We'll get back to HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's my thing. This was the full in development things that DC has announced that they were doing.
Damn, Brian, you went deep to grab this.
I did.
There is
This-
about 95% of that is gone.
Gone. Like
Disappeared.
Not
Hold on,
95% is not good.
Hold on, I gotta take this off because I can't see.
I
the
was gonna
bottom
say.
there. There we
Okay, so here's the thing that is here's what I would say is safe for sure. Shazam, Aquaman, Superman and Lois. There's
Not Black Adam. Black Adam.
Oh yeah, Black Adam. Sorry,
And Sandman, which opens literally this
Sandman.
weekend.
Yes.
But is season 2 safe?
That's
Who knows?
who knows.
We'll see.
That-
Harley
that's
Quinn
not-
show is
No,
safe.
it would be because it's Netflix.
I was going to say
Partly
that's-
Netflix,
their
which
choice.
helps.
It's their choice. It's net like the DC, Warner Brothers has no control over that show anymore. It's the Netflix. What are you doing with it? We've sold
So
you we've sold you the rights to this property.
So here's my thing. Looking under, let's say, these two right here. This shouldn't be, but they'll drop
No,
it.
that's
because
gone. That's gone.
You think?
It's happening.
Gone.
It's
Jake,
$300
they've
million.
spent
Okay, this is what I was gonna say.
$300
This is what I was gonna say. This is what I was gonna say before Brian brought this up. All I was gonna say is if they're canceling a movie right now, that, and I understand the budget goes into it. It's a streaming film.
Jake, you're looking at morals versus
Listen,
money.
Brian. Listen, just let me finish. If they're canceling a movie right now that is based on maybe it looks cheap, right, or maybe we don't think it's worth just putting out there, and there's no set direction for it, they are 1000% canceling a movie that has a lead actor who has had some of the worst public problems over the last year than any actor in the last, I don't know, the whole time I've been alive.
He's
like-
literally missing right now.
They're not releasing that movie. That movie is no bueno. We will never see Michael Keaton's Batman ever again. Put it that way.
Okay. I think they
Part
will
of me doesn't
release it.
disagree with you, but I also am like, this is $300 million.
The Flash.
It's like-
there is no
on
way they're
Thursday.
releasing that movie.
On
hang
Thursday to say, hey, this $300 million investment, it's gone. Because they're not the only ones who paid for it. There's investors who have paid for this, and they're going to demand that it gets released.
You're gonna put a movie out that has Ezra Miller
Jake,
on
they
it,
don't
Here's-
care when it's that
the-
much money.
dude.
Over
Here's
a
the thing.
quarter of a
Dude.
The
million
general,
dollars.
the general audience doesn't know Ezra Miller like they do Amber Heard. Okay,
I
Like,
don't know,
it's-
man.
I agree
don't-
with that. That I agree with.
Ezra Miller. They're like, who? Like
Yep.
from the who? You mean? But anyways, okay. Since we're talking about
We
the
should
Flash,
boycott the Flash movie.
one of two things are going to happen. What you said, they're either going to can it, which I don't think,
They need to.
or they're going to do some reshoots, some heavy reshoots, and change the direction of that.
Mm.
Okay, you can't.
There's
You
literally
can't-
2 Ezra Millers in the movie.
Yeah, you
They're
no.
not-
I'm not talking. No.
they're
I'm
not-
talking.
It
I'm
needs
I'm
to
not talking
end
about.
with everyone
no.
dying.
No,
That's
I'm
how
not
it
talking
needs to
about.
end.
I'm not talking about Ezra Miller. I'm talking about what they had planned for Michael Keaton's Batman. Because if you notice, earlier in the week, Ben Affleck replaced Michael Keaton for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Today, Batgirl, which featured Michael Keaton, gone. You got Michael Keaton in the Flash. You're probably going to keep him in the movie, but whatever plans you had, like making him the main DCEU Batman, which was stupid in my opinion. I'm sorry, not a smart long-term move. No, they're going to do some rewrites on there. They're not going to get rid of Ezra Miller. Okay,
Man,
they're
I
going
never
to pray
finished
to,
my point, Jake.
I know, but I want us to be able to see him visually, and then we can bring it back up.
they're going to pray to God Ezra Miller doesn't do it another thing between now and June, because that's a long time. And the general audience,
My guy, he
Assuming-
does something every
assuming they
2
know.
months.
Yeah, but there's also another thing about targeted journalism, but that's a whole nother thing. But like,
He's literally missing. People haven't seen him in months because he's hiding.
yeah,
He
he's
literally
putting it-
has like a warrant and he's hiding.
Look, so I understand putting it out for financial reasons. I do. I get that. But what, like, at some point you might just have to bite the bullet if this film... Do you really think this movie's going to make its money back?
I think
No.
they'll take any money that they can get.
That's the
and
thing.
that's
Unless
the problem.
okay,
I guess, but like...
Here's
I don't
going to
know.
be the thing. If Discovery/Warner Brothers go to the investors, here is your money back. That's
Yeah,
the
I
only way that
guess.
the movie doesn't get
I
released.
guess.
But they've just dealt with it for 2 years. They don't want to deal with it anymore.
The marketing will be absolutely
Are they...
nothing, but
Is-
they're just going to put it out
is
just
W-
to see how much they can get.
Is WB still doing the simultaneous releases?
No.
no.
They need
It's a
to for this.
It's
I
a
think-
45-day window.
Yeah,
They
it's a
need to for
45-day
this.
window.
This
They
needs to be
can't.
released on HBO
They
Max the
can't.
day it comes out on theater.
They
need to.
can't. That's the problem.
No, they can't do
can't
that.
because they're under a contract with the theaters.
Yeah,
They're-
that fucking sucks because they need to.
This movie's screwed for all the worst reasons, and like they're between a rock and a hard place. Like there isn't an answer here. There is not an answer. Like it's everyone involved. Like canceling Batgirl, as bad of a decision as it is, you can sell it. You can at least sell it to the investors and to the people. Like on Thursday, you can sell, hey, this $90 million movie, it didn't work out, and we put it on. If we put it on HBO Max, we're not going to get any extra subscribers. We're not going to be able to like that. You could sell that it wasn't going to make them much money, and the previous regime made a bad investment. Sorry, you got screwed over. You lost your money. We're sorry. You can't a $300 million film that was going to be released in theaters. You cannot cancel that. Your investors,
man.
your
It's
investors
gonna
will
be a
screw you.
mess.
You're-
It's gonna
it's
be
like-
the
it's gonna be
biggest
shit show.
mess.
They're,
Oh,
The
they're,
the
I
invest. You will be
promise.
screwed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Like it's that's where we're heading. This is one of the single biggest messes we are ever going to see in Hollywood.
oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
unless someone is willing to come out and spend $150 million to fix it, which hell no, no one is going to do that. I don't know the answer. There isn't an answer to this. This is going to be one of the single biggest disasters we ever see in Hollywood, and the only reason why people aren't going to get fired and why people they've already been fired. They've already lost their jobs. The people who made these decisions no longer have a job. Sorry, Brian, you wanted to finish your point, and I went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay. This is already gone. Here's my thing. Here's what I think's probably left. Oops. This will be next.
What is that?
This will.
Blue Beetle.
This.
I'm going to have some
I
pushback on Blue
disagree.
Beetle.
Yeah.
I'm going to have
Batman
some
2 is happening. Batman 2 is
Bat-
happening.
Ooh,
This
no,
this
that-
will
that
stay
one.
because it's Netflix. I actually think I'm going to play optimist. I think they'll leave Peacemaker alone, and because they will want to stay on James Gunn's good graces. I don't know what it will do, but James Gunn has done well for them, and
Not really. What has James Gunn? No,
Nah,
sorry.
even
Justice. Sorry, Suicide Squad lost them a lot of money,
That's
A lot
true.
of money.
That is true.
A lot of money.
and
Okay, that's fair.
Peacemaker had a little bit of a hit, but it wasn't massive. Like I don't see them going. Yeah, we're massive on this.
I think that's gone. They'll release Flash, unfortunately. That's gone. That'll stay because they need to end it. That's staying. That's gone. Here's my shocker. I think this is gone.
I do too.
No.
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah,
I
100%.
agree with that.
100%.
Jake,
Yep.
or Gio, I think
100%.
Wonder Woman's done.
Yeah, I
It's,
think
it
it's done.
pains
I
me,
think
but I think she's
this
done.
version of Wonder Woman's done. I think this version's
Done.
done.
I agree.
Static Shock done.
Yep.
I think they'll fit. This will change, but he will still get some type of project.
Maybe.
Done. Done.
Yeah,
Okay,
I,
I don't think
all,
he needs
all of
I don't
that,
think
all
he
of that
needs-
down there is done.
Yeah,
Here's-
I think it's just
No,
literally
see,
both
I
of
think
those
they'll
are
keep
done.
this.
No. Oh wait,
Uh,
no.
Col-
Actually, hang on. Oh,
Colin Farrell just came out and talked about
yeah.
it too. Yeah,
I think they'll keep
that's
that. I think that's gone. Zatanna's gone, which is going to suck because we all know that was probably going to be Anna de Armas.
good. You better put an X on Green Lantern. You know how long we've been waiting for
Here,
that?
Gio,
No, that's gone. Yeah.
this is the most painful thing to me in the world. Is
Oh.
them. This will never happen.
Mm,
This
yeah.
is what I expected to happen with Black Adam. I just push it, and never happened. Thankfully, it didn't. But honestly, I think when it comes down to it, this is what will be left.
All right, I'm going to disagree on Blue Beetle, and here's the one reason.
I hope I'm wrong on Blue Beetle. I hope I'm wrong.
I'm disagreeing on Blue Beetle, and the only reason is is the same reason as Flash. It's getting a theatrical release. I think anything that was a theatrical release for DC right now, I think is getting one that they've shot that's actually in front of cameras is getting made.
Well,
And
okay, so question then on Blue Beetle. Then why wasn't it touched on at Comic-Con?
What, Blue Beetle?
They were probably still deciding what they're gonna do.
Like,
I
not
mean,
even like an
it-
official image or like nothing?
because
That's
it's a
good
year
point.
out.
I didn't think about that.
Because it's next year. Because probably, but
Well, technically, it's only a year out by
it's August
16
next year.
days.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be
like-
at next year's Comic Con.
Well, of course it will be, but don't you
Gio,
think
next
they would
year's
have done it
Comic
this
Con would
year?
only be a month and a half before it released.
No, it'd be like
Yeah,
3 or
They're
4
gonna
weeks
do
ahead of
some
it.
marketing
Yeah.
before Comic Con.
I don't
No,
look. The reason why I think it's not going to get cancelled is the same reason as Flash. You've got the investors are going to go, "Where's my money?" or "I'm suing you."
I mean, no, I get that financially, it makes sense. It takes me back to the Batgirl thing, and we don't know the official reason as to why, but like, why that movie when we heard no issues with it, but it's only because it's a streaming movie, and then you're not going to cancel movies that we haven't heard on anything like Blue Beetle, or obviously we're waiting the rest of the week to find out what's happening. If there isn't, which I didn't even know there was an investors thing this Thursday. Now my mind is like running everywhere with everything.
Here is why. Because the Wonder Woman 2 movie showed us the hand, and it showed us exactly why. Because all these actors for every other movie other than Batgirl have contracts that say it has to have a theatrical release. Has to have a theater release. Otherwise, Warner Bros. Had to pay Gal Gadot and
And Chris Pine?
Oh yeah, and Chris Pine as well. But as though it was $1 billion film.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman 2, given the reviews, given even pre-COVID, wasn't making $1 billion. So, like, with some of the, like, if Blue Beetle's going to have a release and they cancel it, they're going to have to pay these actors as though it was a $250 million release. They're coming out of COVID, and then that's on the board. You can't that's the other thing you've got to see with a lot of this is who can you put the blame on? at an investors meeting, who can you then say the reason why your money is gone down is because of who? Oh, we had to pay out $250 million because we decided to cancel a movie instead of, hey, your money's gone down because they greenlit a movie that was never making money. That's why. That it's who's to blame and where
Show business.
Whose ass can they cover? Like, it's everyone's trying to cover their own ass. And
Do you think?
Yeah. That's
Do
where
you guys
we're
think
at.
there's a chance that Blue Beetle gets bumped back down to HBO Max only?
They can't at this point.
There's a rumor right now going around that HBO Max might not even exist in a year.
And
What?
That's the thing I want to talk about.
They want to take away HBO Max and just make Discovery Plus.
Which makes sense.
I'm not. Yeah.
But I think okay, it makes no sense that a company has two streaming services. Absolutely
Agreed.
makes no sense
Agreed.
whatsoever. So you need one of them. That makes sense on paper. What doesn't make sense and why I think Peacemakers getting cancelled is a lot of the shows that they're going to start producing aren't big budget shows. They're going to go back to the reality show driven stuff.
Man, some great shows on HBO.
That's why they just got rid of all kids programming on HBO.
And okay, hold on a second. Harry Potter's left HBO Max at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's going to Peacock, right?
But that always happens. That's going to that's
Harry
going
Potter
to
is a
backflip
shit show.
Harry Potter's weird for some reason. You guys, that contract's weird.
Isn't like I feel like HBO Max has been doing pretty well for itself. Like
They have
it
a
has
hell of a catalog.
the library is incredible.
Okay,
And to me, like, and I don't know, like I'm not a streaming like guru or anything, but I almost feel like if I were to put HBO Max and Discovery Plus up against each other, HBO Max feels like the better fit than Discovery Plus, which sounds a hell of a lot like Disney Plus.
Here's your thing. It's not available outside of the US.
But that doesn't mean Discovery Plus will be.
Oh, David is going to change
Well,
that.
I'm
not so high on
not
HBO
what
Max.
he said.
Even.
That's not what he said.
But he
He's
wants to
gonna-
make it like, what's the goal? Like 140 million or something?
No, he wants to do the same fucking mistake that every other one of these companies has decided to do, which is just sell the content. You don't make it one big giant streaming service. You sell the content to international content holders.
Basically,
So,
kind of like what the British shows do to Netflix.
So to put this into example, okay,
Peaky
Australia
Blinders.
doesn't have HBO Max. We don't have HBO Max. I legally can't get HBO Max. Thank you, PJ. But we have this thing called
PJ's literally the plug for so many people.
PJ's the in. He's the
Yeah.
criminal of all of us.
But we have Foxtel, and they're the ones who went out. Foxtel, and it's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and they're the ones who went out and licensed all of HBO's content. So when Snyder's Justice League dropped, it was on Foxtel. You had to sign up for Foxtel to get it. Foxtel is essentially our cable package. You have to get cable to get HBO.
And
We don't
that's
have
what
it
they
as a
wanna-
streaming service.
And that's what they want to do with just HBO.
It's coming. I
know.
Wow. Warner Brothers is more screwed up than I thought.
See. Look, I don't know. Okay. This
is all speculation.
This is
We'll
gonna get me
see.
in trouble. Okay. The streaming bubble is about I think a year, maybe 2 years away from bursting. As in, we already know. So, the 5 biggest streaming services right now, you would argue, Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Apple TV, and HBO Max. Then you can include Peacock and Paramount, but I think they're distant.
They're like
No Hulu?
Hulu's
Hulu's its own bubble.
Hulu
Did you
is
say
its
Prime
own
Video?
thing, and the reason it's its own thing is just because it's very much there until the contracts run out. I will
That's fair.
guarantee
That's
you,
fair.
and once this HBO Max contract runs out, or the HBO contract with Fox runs out, Hulu's gone. I think Hulu will just transition into Disney Plus, like they've
That makes
done
sense.
with every other country in the world. So, because like Fresh is on Disney Plus here.
As
Which
long
is-
as I get only Murders in the Building, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Okay. But what I'm more saying is, so they're the seven, the seven streaming services, the main ones, really.
Jacob, sorry to cut you off. Isn't
Yeah.
Hulu for you guys like Star Plus? It's in the Disney Plus app.
Inside Disney. Yeah, that's what I was just
That's-
saying. That's what I just
That
joked.
makes more sense. Then
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, like that's the joke. I just like Fresh is on Disney Plus. This R-rated horror, like this fucking
Love
horror
it.
movie, is on
Love it.
Disney Plus.
It's like
Give
an
it to me
app.
more. I need
Anyway.
it.
So is Logan.
Yeah, I like how you guys were like, it was a big story that Logan came onto Disney Plus. It's literally.
Oh my god,
been
my
on-
Twitter feed was all over the place with that
It's
stuff.
been on ours for 2 years. It's been on there since it started. Anyway, so here, so you've got the 7 streaming services. Disney Plus is probably the only one that's actually successful right now, like that can fund itself, that is not overly reliant on outside money right now. Their subscribers are going up. They're able to actually fund themselves through Disney. Netflix is in trouble. We've all acknowledged that.
Oh, yeah.
Netflix is in a lot of trouble. They can't.
I feel like
fund
Apple. I feel like Apple's pretty close with Disney. No.
Apple's doing good because their price is so low.
So here's, I'm getting to them. Amazon and Apple both have the tech bubble. They've got the tech. They've got tech behind them, where they're subsidized through tech industries, and the way those shows and everything make money has nothing to do with the fact that they're entertainment companies. Got more everything to do with the fact that they're data hubs. That's it. The only reason Apple and Amazon let you giving you these shows was because they want to grab your data. That's it. You're the customer. You are the product, not the shows. That leaves HBO Max, Peacock, and Paramount Plus. All 3 of them are hemorrhaging money. All 3 of them subscribers are starting to taper off, which is concerning, because as soon as we saw it with Netflix, as soon as your numbers in the next month or like quarter don't exceed your previous quarters, angel investors pull their money. And we've seen it happen, and that's what is coming with streaming. And we're going to start seeing angel investors pull their money, and the streaming bubble's about to burst. With that, when that happens, people start losing jobs. People start going, where we need to save money on stuff. Where do I save money? And HBO Max is going to be one of the first big things to be cut from Warner Brothers.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I can't wait for Thursday now. I can't wait.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be Thursday's fascinating. This one is going to be a fascinating. This investors meeting is going to be fascinating because they're going to have to be able to. Because someone is going to ask the question of why not release it as is and try and get it, and he's going to have to answer that question.
Yeah.
Or we're going to come out, or we're going to get the answer of that story's BS and we are actually releasing it. Which at this point, the fact they haven't said anything, it's not BS. But because you don't let a story go for 5 hours of this magnitude if it's BS. You come out and you deny it pretty freaking quick. So I don't know. I really think we're in an era. We're in an interesting era. Streaming services like Criterion will be fine. Streaming services where they just like HBO Max will probably be fine if it just relies on its old catalog. It would be fine. But it's the ones that have to create new content. They're the ones that are going to struggle, and that's where we're going to start seeing the problem is, I need to create I need to create $500 million worth of content in 3 months. I need to somehow fund it by people only paying $10 a month or 20 or whatever it is now. Like,
You gotta. They
Not to
should have
mention,
did ad
HBO Max is the
supported.
most expensive of all of the streaming services.
yeah.
At least for us.
If HBO Max marketed itself as, hey, we're not putting any new stuff on here, It's just the stuff from HBO, like House of Dragon,
Warner Brothers,
and the stuff that Warner Brothers make, and we're releasing it onto there. It would be fine, and I think that's the plan. I actually think that's what they're planning on doing. I think this bubble is kind of exposing to everyone, hey, you can't just throw endless money into a pit and expect that it's going to pay you back at some point. It's not. This investment hasn't paid off for people. And
It'll also come down to what they want to do with Discovery Plus, because whatever Discovery wants to do, they get to do because they own them. They literally own them.
Now comes the big question that I'm fascinated by in the next year. Does Warner Brothers just sell DC?
That's what I'm thinking.
I think they should, personally.
Yeah.
Look, okay, Gio, from a perspective,
you can't trust Warner Brothers. Trust me.
Well, look from the perspective of the last, like, let's put a number on it. Let's say
10.
since The Dark Knight Rises was over, so right after that, right? Let's put a number on it. So 2012, as soon as The Dark Knight Rises, kind of like a new era of DC has entered. Right, they're trying to play catch up with Marvel. The cinematic universe for the MCU is kicking strong. We have all these movies coming out, and there's been some really good movies. But as far as a universe goes, or like plan for DC in general, it's been an absolute shit show, like an absolute mess.
Because
it seems
Warner
like
Brothers.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying the creators
because
or
of
anything
the old
like that.
because of the old regime.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's the directors or anything. It's clearly the instruction from the top, and it seems like every year we're having some sort of conversation about, well, like, what is the plan, or what happens, and, you know, where is this going, or, you know, why was this move made? Now we're talking about things being canceled out of nowhere, and it seems like they're just basically throwing everything aside and trying to start anew. I mean, it might be something where, you know, think of it almost like a Dark Phoenix situation where Fox had to release that, but then Disney was right there being like, oh, we're buying X-Men. Fox is no longer going to make X-Men movies, and boom.
Look at New Mutants. I think New Mutants is the perfect example.
Oh, not New Mutants, or not Dark Phoenix, New Mutants. There we go. Excuse me. That's
but even Dark Phoenix had the other problem as well. Like, do you remember the investors meeting like a month after Dark Phoenix came out? It lost $200 million, and he had to come out and just basically like, that was Fox's problem. That wasn't ours. Yeah. Like, this movie was always going to be a disaster. Like, that was the point. It came out and said, this isn't on us. Let's move on. We had to release this movie because of contract obligations. It's why New Mutants at the height of COVID went, we're going into a theater. Even though no one was going to theaters at the height of COVID.
Yeah.
New Mutants did because they had to. They had to put it in theaters. It was contractually mandated that they did.
I'm interested. I'm very interested. If I were to say right now, I say yes, WE should get rid of DC. I think it's time.
If they do,
I think it's time.
Here are your only two that are going to be able to buy them.
Agreed.
There's a third. I'm putting in a third.
Which is who?
I have a dark horse on it too.
You going to Universal? Oh,
it's Paramount.
Oh, I think Paramount's very sneaky, especially with their service doing pretty well.
Not only that,
I love Paramount Plus, by the way.
So, okay, but this isn't to do.
You want to know what's funny to that, Jacob? In California, we have a theme park. Well, it just got sold, but in Great America, half of the park
is Paramount.
Is Paramount, and they have DC stuff all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think Paramount's are real sneaky if it happens, which again, this is massive speculation, but if it happens, I think Paramount's is sneaky because one, the Tom Cruise franchises are about to end.
Yep.
Mission Impossible is ending in 2 years.
Star Trek's
nowhere
on the big screen. Yeah,
like Star Trek's a TV series. It does okay with movies, but it not to the money that Paramount thought it would. I think Paramount thought this would be a Star Wars level hit, and it's never been that. It's never going to be that. So
I actually like that idea of DC ending at Paramount. I think they do a pretty good job, personally.
You gotta remember who originally had the MCU.
Yeah, they started it.
Paramount.
They went through the first phase.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. I think that would
You know who
actually
I
be a
could
pretty
see stealing it and just fucking it up even more. Sorry, Gio.
Fox.
Well, no,
Oh,
don't,
Fox
don't
doesn't
apologize
exist
to me.
Universal?
Sony.
Oh,
No, I
Sony,
could
yeah.
just see
No,
Sony.
that's not
can't
happening.
They can't.
No,
No,
there's no way
they,
they can
and that's
happen.
the only thing they can't afford it. But
Because
like,
it'd be at minimum 10 billion. Absolute minimum is 10 billion. But right now, given where superheroes are, given where like the rights for that alone would be $10 billion, which is hilarious to think about that Marvel was sold for $4 billion 10 years, like or 15 years ago now.
I think so. If we say the three, Amazon, Apple, and Paramount,
so
for
here's
me,
the thing.
Paramount makes the most sense because, and not to say that Apple or Amazon don't do this because they do, but Paramount has the biggest track record with theatrical releases.
Amazon and Apple might. I think I would be a lot more willing and open to the idea of Amazon or Apple buying it once we see what they do with Bond. Because Amazon
agreed.
now have Bond. And
Agreed.
once we see what they do with that, I might be a little more open to it. I just can't see an Apple or an Amazon going, here's $300 million for a Batman movie.
Yeah.
I can't see it. Which
I mean, Amazon just did it with Lord of the Rings, the series. You know, they put a shit
it's
ton
a
of money into
series.
that, but
but it's a TV series because you got to remember
See,
that
and that's what makes me think that Amazon wouldn't want it. They're like, we got Lord of the Rings, like we're chill.
well, they have Lord of the Rings and Bond now. They have Bond.
Yeah.
And Bond is a timeless story. Like,
And
but
if Netflix wasn't
they-
hemorrhaging money, I would say they would go for it too.
yeah, but they're hemorrhaging
They're
money
done.
Because
but
they are
again,
so desperate for like
their chance at a big franchise was 10 years ago. They lost their chance.
like I think. But here's the other big thing: it's okay. What is Amazon's product? Amazon's product is not releasing movies into theaters. They make no money from that. There's no point. There's no money in doing that. There's no point. They do it. They honestly do it to shut people up. But they do it to be like, fine, here, have your theater release so you can shut up and go away. Like, they don't want the bad press of not doing of doing a small theater release. They make their money by people signing up for Amazon Prime and them being able to get the data off you for what you watch. What do you watch? When do you watch it? I can use that data and I can sell it to advertisers. Same with Apple. Apple do the exact same thing. And that's where they make their money.
I just looked up Paramount's worth. They're only worth $4 billion.
Paramount Network, not Paramount Studios. Go Paramount Network. You got to remember, there's CBS. There's the theme park.
They have a lot. Yeah.
Sorry, Paramount Global. Paramount Global.
All right. So to kind of wrap the conversation back around a little bit, I do kind of want to end the show on just simply making predictions on movies that we think will be released.
Yeah,
and projects that we think are actually being asked. So
yeah, Brian, yeah, you see that amount?
it's like 30 billion. So
let me go ahead and bring this back up real quick. So I'm gonna just select a number or a group of them, and I want you guys to give me a yes or a no. And I want to hear from everybody. So obviously, Black Adam, yes, right? We're all in agreement.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick with the bigger ones here. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, yes.
Yeah.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Yep.
yeah,
yeah, that's not gonna.
they don't fuck with Jason Momoa. Who fucks?
Okay,
with
fair enough.
Not me.
Fair enough.
Season
Blue Beetle.
Season 3 of Pennyworth canceled.
Yeah,
Okay. How about Blue Beetle? What do we think?
Yep.
I'm gonna be
think-
optimistic on that one.
I think it's
Okay.
coming out.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go to Peacemaker season 2.
Jake, Superman and Lois USA is safe, right? Because it's
100%.
doing pretty
It's
good.
It's CW. They do their 100%. That's happening. Peacemaker season 2.
Honestly, yes.
I'm saying no. I think
Safe.
Peacemaker's gone. I think it's
All right. We all talked about the Flash. Everyone here thinks it's coming.
Yep.
I think it is.
I don't like that it's coming, but I think it's coming.
I think it's coming. I think it makes that June release date and it doesn't move. And
Okay.
there's no. And I don't think they're going to spend much more money on it.
Okay. We know Batgirl's not coming. We know the Flash, the series is ending with season 9. Here's an interesting one, Joker 2.
Yes. That first one made a crap ton of money.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that one.
I think Joker 2 I think is.
Yeah.
I'm saying
You can't win an Oscar like that and say you're doing a second one and then be like, now we're good.
Oscars,
Yeah,
$1 billion, less than
If they
100
wouldn't have
million.
said anything, maybe.
Yeah, I
But
think
you don't fuck around with Joaquin Phoenix like that. Like if he agrees to a sequel,
okay. It's not only that. Like I'm more the comments of we want to make them a big event, but I guess like a Joker movie, a Joker sequel, it's going to be a big event. So yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
I'm more on the it's coming. I'm not 100% certain though. I'm not like I am more convinced that Flash is coming than Joker 2 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, one is like completely shot and ready to go.
Yeah,
The
like
other one, yeah.
I am 100% convinced that Flash is coming. I am not 100% convinced that the Joker 2 is.
I think it's far enough off to where there's a possibility it doesn't happen, personally. Especially with all of these new shakeups. So
Yeah.
I'll
I
say
think it
this:
happens.
if they get rid of Joker, Batman 2's gone.
well, that wasn't my next one, but so Wonder Woman 3 we all think is gone.
I think dead. I think
Nope.
Wonder Woman 3.
Gio, you think it's happening or no?
I think it's happening. I think
Okay.
look, Gal Gadot is still big time, big star. And if Wonder Woman 84 was the last time we saw Wonder Woman, I would probably agree with you guys. But it wasn't the last time we saw Wonder Woman. In fact, Snyder Cut helped Wonder Woman stock greatly after what 84 did. So, just my opinion. I think we get one more movie at least.
Okay.
And she's gonna. Never mind.
No, you're good. And then the last one that we could talk about here, the Batman 2.
I think it's coming.
Me too.
I do.
I think it's coming.
I'm about as confident as Joker. Like I think it is, given the first one made $700 million in a post-COVID, which is a big deal. I think that we've got more of and I think that it not being tied to any universe and it not being a thing, it being kind of it's just its own thing. That's
Yeah,
on the
Batman's
side.
just Batman at this point.
I think
He's
that
still
helps it.
the crown jewel of DC. So
Yeah.
I think that massively helps it, that it's not tied to any of this Ezra Miller mess. Is a
And I think that's the same with Joker too.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. I'm probably just holding a grudge against Joker because I hate that movie. So
Wait, Jake, do we think Penguin's done then? I don't think Penguin's done.
Oh, I'll include. Well, I guess I'll include the Penguin in the Batman situation. I think if the Batman happens, the Penguin happens. I think they're going to stick with Matt Reeves personally.
I don't know. It
and
just
his
depends
story.
what they do with HBO Max.
yeah, that's my thing. It's gonna
Okay, that's fair. I'll leave it up to that.
yeah. Like if HBO Max is still a thing a year from now, as in like an actual thing that they're willing to still spend money on, then yes, Penguin will happen. If HBO Max is done, like if on Thursday they announce that they're wrapping up HBO Max, or it leaks this week that they're wrapping up HBO Max,
Penguin's done.
Penguin's done. Penguin's
yeah,
done.
sure.
Peacemaker's
yeah,
done.
I think
All these shows are done. The thing, like, it's fun. Like, it's absolutely incredible and amazing to me how, aside from DC, what franchises does Warner Brothers have right now? Out maybe Dune.
That's running.
Game of Thrones, and that's
Well,
Those-
Game of Thrones
yeah.
hasn't really started back up yet, and the
Dune.
Harry Potter franchise has kind of fallen apart.
I'm
We'll see.
convinced. Cursed Child's not happening now.
I think
four-
that
Fantastic
franchise is
Beasts
just
4
falling
and 5
apart.
are gone.
Remember
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
there was a rumor that they were going to have a TV show for it? That was
Yeah.
like, no,
I'm
we
the
never told you
single
that.
biggest
Like,
mistake. The single biggest mistake HBO Max made was when they announced them we're launching on this date. They didn't have a Harry Potter series launching
Yeah.
at the same time.
Agreed.
That's I think they didn't have a series launching at that time.
I'll say that my last piece is I would say if let's say DC keeps going, like this whole thing keeps going, the ones that I think are safe, the only ones that I think are 100% safe is Shazam and Black Adam, because they don't right now have zero connection to anything else unless they add something into Black Adam.
And they've also got the one other big thing that none of these other movies have, and that is the connection with New Line. Warner Brothers don't have 100, and I know New Line is owned by Warner Brothers, so they basically could, but
I'll say Shazam is safe.
Yeah.
Aquaman, I'm gonna give like 85 because people fucking love Jason Momoa.
I think that movie's coming out.
No. I'm talking like looking into the
moving
future.
forward.
Like if DC stays, I would say Shazam's good because it doesn't connect anything. Like, I'm sorry, Gio, it doesn't connect to Snyder or anything, so people aren't gonna you don't have to.
Yeah, it does.
It connects in a very minimal
Yeah,
way.
It's
a
very
very
minimal
way.
They never showed.
I'm sorry, dude, but the Snyderverse is dead.
Yeah,
nope.
They never showed.
As long
Superman's
as his characters are still in the universe, it's not dead.
That's a whole other show conversation,
wait.
guys.
So I'll say this.
Snyderverse is the only thing making DC.
Oh, here
exciting.
we go.
Did
Brian,
you not
we should
see
just get
the
off the screen. We should just get off the screen, Brian.
I just want to say this because I've been wanting to say this. Shazam's probably safe. I would say the most because it doesn't really connect to anything. Black Adam, they can literally build their own thing just off of The Rock.
And he wants to do a Black Adam universe. I'm like,
don't get me started.
But that movie doesn't
Aquaman-
really look good, so why would you want to do that?
Aquaman's probably safe because Jason Momoa made Aquaman cool. Like we grew up, Aquaman was the butt of the jokes, right?
Agreed.
Now he's cool. Okay. Other than those,
make $1 billion fucking dollars. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Other than those three, including Wonder Woman, I don't think anyone else is safe. Other than those three,
I will take that bet.
I don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think she's great. I think that is in a lot of trouble because I don't think Patty Jenkins wants to do it anymore. I think she's kind of done with it, and she kind of just disappeared after 84. Look at Star Wars. Look at Wonder Woman 3. I don't know.
Here's my reason why maybe Wonder Woman could happen is she'll do what she did last time. Fuck, I hate working with Disney. I'm going back to Warner Brothers to deal with this. Oh, we're never getting a Patty Jenkins Disney movie ever again now. That's twice she's been burnt. Twice she's been badly burnt. We're never getting another one.
Yeah. Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman. I think those are your three safest superheroes for DC going forward.
We'll see. We shall see. Look, if we get more information on Thursday, this could very well be a topic of discussion next week. Who knows? We could be all DC next week, and you'll see our faces back. And I'm sure Keith and Jacob, Bartley anyway, will want to jump on and talk about that. Because I know Gio's ready. I know Blundin's ready. I think Brian's ready.
I'm just here for the ride, man. Shit's wild. This is absolutely.
This is crazy.
Have we ever seen a studio drop a ball this hard on a franchise? No. A potential billion dollar franchise?
Look.
This is our generation's Fantastic Four.
That's fair. But at a very stronger level.
I mean, they dropped the ball on DC and Harry Potter.
Okay, fair, but I'm more meaning I mean Batgirl in general.
And they recognize that. That's why David said, "Hey, Alan Horn, what you been doing at Disney for the last 10 years? We want you back." Okay,
good. I hope they grab as many good people as they can and make things great.
And that's why they're not gonna sell DC, because if you watch the very first press conference that David Zaslav did when the merger was announced, he talks heavily about DC. He knows that is a blue chip amongst the IPs that Warner Brothers has. They're not going to make the same mistake Paramount did. Look at Paramount. Paramount wishes they had MCU right now.
I mean, they didn't have a choice. Paramount didn't go, "Hey, we're selling it." It was they had the film rights.
They had the film rights.
They made a deal. They made a handshake agreement with Marvel, and then Disney went, "Hey, we're just going to buy Marvel." That's that wasn't Paramount.
Mickey Mouse just came in and went, "Oh, you think you're cute? I'm buying this."
They did Michael Keaton from The Founder.
There you go. Exactly. Good reference, Gio.
Thank you.
Yeah, nah. I'm more. Look, I just think that the Alan Horn thing for me, and I do just want to mention this real quick because that was a massive. That I think is one of the most under-talked stories of the week.
Absolutely.
Like this is the Alan Horn coming back to Warner Brothers is one of the biggest stories of the year, and no one's talking about it. And it's not got anything to do with the Snyder. It's got not anything to do with DC or anything. It's more the fact that they drove him out. The relationship between Alan Horn and Warner Brothers was at
Kevin
an all-time low. Was so bad because they decided we're going with the Hangover guys instead of Alan Horn now, and I'd love to know how much it costs to bring him back. I would love to know what that pay packet's like because it would be a lot for him.
It cost him $70 million for him to come back. So,
Jesus Christ, that's nothing. He says, like, but like, I mean, yeah, I'd take a maybe.
Jake, now's your time to end it before we tangent somewhere else.
Well, there's
Look, I know for
so
a fact
much-
these
there's
two could
so
go
much
on.
more. There's so
I,
much.
I
more
know that they can go on
could
forever. And
into
look, I'm not
this.
going to confirm it right now, but I'll say that now learning that there is something that's happening on Thursday with DC. What are you doing, dude? Excuse me. That there's a high chance that next week's show will be at least have some sort of conversation regarding what's going on again. So we'll definitely keep everyone updated, and you very well could see a topic of discussion related to DC or Warner Brothers next week.
And go to
after learning
his
some new
channel
things.
too for it.
Yeah, Gio's covering it all. Phantom United,
on
he's,
it like
he's
that.
covering all of it. So
I could see you at work and like the back, like this shit is crazy. Check me out later.
I might walk out.
all right, well, let's do some quick plugs before we get out of here. He's all about this desk right. I don't know what's going on.
He wants to be on the show.
Yeah. Blunden, why don't you start us off, man? Where can everyone find you online?
You guys can find me at Jacob Blunden over Twitter, Facebook, Letterbox, and you can find me on the Finally Tailored YouTube channel, which we're going to start doing more things. I'm going to be back to talking about sport and
More things.
Yeah, I'm going to start actually start podcasting again and doing reviews and talking movies. So I'm back.
You just have to pull her out of the Elvis screenings, man.
Yeah, let's not. Oh my God.
You gotta
2
bring it-
straight years of tweeting the same pictures. What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
With that. But, yeah,
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Gio, what about you, man?
Yeah, on Twitter at Fandom United 21. Check me out on here every Tuesday, of course, 7 p.m. Jacob, come back next week.
Oh yeah, I'll be back.
And
I ain't going
yeah,
anywhere.
Fandom United, separate channel. I did do a back row video on there. You can hear more of my thoughts. And I did a reaction to Will Smith's video, first time he stepped out in public since the Oscars. So check that out as well.
How did you guys watch that? It's just
I didn't
cringe.
watch it.
I
didn't
can't
watch
watch
either.
it. It's just so
I didn't watch it
cringe.
either.
Yeah.
Wait, the Oscars
The
or
apology?
the
No,
apology?
the Will
The
Smith
apology.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Brian?
You can find me via Volcino on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be tweeting because I'm not going to be at work this week. And a certain point of view with Jake. Next week is literally the last week of Friday Night Titans. So
Is it next week? Is next week the last week? Jesus.
Yeah.
No, it's this Friday is the last one. It's
this
Sam
week,
Levine
yeah,
versus
technically.
Ethan Irwin is the last one. Yeah.
Jesus.
so yeah, if you're into that, come check us out there.
Yeah. Just Apocaflix now for us here for right now, guys. We'll be doing Marvel Rewind when She-Hulk returns, and then Mandalorian Club when Andor returns.
Thank you, Lord, for separating those two.
Yeah,
for
a little
our-
bit of a break, which is really nice.
for our mental
Yeah.
state.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, and thank you to everyone who's been watching. We actually had our highest live count ever tonight, which
30
is pretty
people.
cool.
Hey,
30
man, that's
people
what
are
happens
watching,
when
which
you
is
talk
really, really cool.
DC.
No, it's what happens when we
okay.
finally catch a topic when it's hot.
All the links are in the description, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys next time.